Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Deckinaround Reviewed. Today we're taking a look at Hit from Luke Jermay. But before we jump into it, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel.
And please ring the bell.
With Hit, you're able to perform an unforgettable, painstakingly clear demonstration of persuasion and mind control. From a shuffled pack, you remove just 4 cards and offer to play a few rounds of Blackjack with a participant. Despite letting her choose her cards every time, you, the performer, always prevail. Even when cards are exchanged and shown to the spectator, you are always left with the winning hand. This gimmick is actually based around a mentalism routine which has multiple phases. It is a gimmick as well as a download with instructions. It is available for purchase from any Murphy's Magic retailer, and the retail price on it is $25. I have to say, I really enjoyed the tutorial on this one. While it was a little bit on the longer side, it rang in at about an hour and 10 minutes, somewhere around there, maybe like an hour and 7 minutes.
Yeah,
it was actually really interesting, and I think the cool thing about it was there was a lot of theory behind it. It's not just a, hey, here's how you use the gimmick. There was a lot of discussion of like the pattern, the routine itself, how you would go through the phases, and really a lot of aspects that I thought made it much more understandable for the viewer. Though at the same time, while this is, rated as a beginner level gimmick, to me, I think it would be more of an advanced beginner or even an intermediate who would really understand this in a way that they wouldn't have to rewatch the tutorial multiple times.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously being a beginner myself and watching kind of like you called it patter in between, the spectator and the magician, I think it's definitely something that I would have to watch several times. And I mean, the routine itself, the back and forth, the setting up of it was brilliant.
Yeah.
I think following along, I was definitely pulled in right away, and I was on the edge of my seat, like, how the hell is this happening? So
Yeah.
I think the tutorial was well done. It definitely kept me interested, even though it was an hour long. And the fact of how it was put together, the very first thing you saw was, the performance, which for me is always a bonus. You see the performance, kind of know what you're getting into, and then goes into the, tutorial side of it, which I thought was very thorough.
Absolutely agree. One of the cool things about this was that, Luke really brings a great energy to the tutorial and the explanation itself. A couple of the areas throughout the tutorial, and the reason I say this, I think, was a little bit more for an advanced beginner or an intermediate magician, is because there's certain things revolving around the use of the gimmick that if you're not familiar with them, you're going to have to go out and figure them out yourself anyway. So it's not something where it's all inclusive. And I think that kind of relies on some sort of foundational understanding to get into it. And it's nothing like highly complex. It's nothing like out of the box. They're things that you could probably relatively easily Google to figure out. So it's not like you need to buy other pieces to understand fully how to use this, but it's also not something that I would say someone should pick up as their first magic gimmick. By no means, if this is the first thing you're ever going to be trying to learn for magic, there's other things you should understand first before getting into it.
Yeah, you definitely have to be comfortable dealing with spectators, and most beginners are not at that level. The back and forth that he used in the routine was amazing. It was one of the best back and forth routines that I've seen someone do. It was just so natural, and I think as a beginner that wouldn't be so organic.
Yeah.
But once you get the hang of it and learn it, I think the routine is easy enough to start using. But like you said, more towards that advanced beginner into.
Absolutely. But like I said too, Luke's energy was phenomenal. And I think the really cool thing about it is he showed how comfortable he was and really walked through all of the nuances of why he chose to do things the way he did. The cool thing about this gimmick too is not only is it a gimmick that you're actually purchasing, he also kind of discusses how you could then make the gimmick yourself, what the benefits are to the pre-made versus the self-made gimmick, and goes into a lot of detail that I think a lot of other tutorials don't necessarily touch on. That probably added a bit to the length, but it really was interesting to hear. And along those same lines, one of the great things about it was I really enjoy when they get into the psychology and, you know, control aspects of a gimmick or mentalism routines or participant control. And he really touched on a lot of that, where it makes you think about the psychology behind why you're making the decisions, even if it's something as simple as when you touch a card and when you don't touch a card and how much impact that can have. He really goes into a lot of detail with that, and it shows that a lot of thought went into this gimmick and this routine as a whole.
Yeah, and I was actually very happy that he showed us how to create your own, because the one downfall I found with this gimmick is that you know, the deck that was used, or the gimmick that was used, is not as widely used as others. That's probably the best way I can put it. You know, I would have liked to have seen, you know, the card backs to be a little more,
yeah, a little more recognizable.
A little more recognizable, something that you can kind of use with any deck rather than buying a specific deck.
Yeah, no, and I think that makes a lot of sense, and I think that goes to the price point a little bit, is that if you pick up the gimmick and you don't have the deck that the gimmick fits with, you're going to need to pick up a deck. And as decks wear out, you're going to obviously want to use a good amount of those. So the ability to build this out yourself and understanding how to build it out yourself does save long term on this, because I do think it is a great routine to fit into any kind of repertoire, whether you're an intermediate or a professional magician or looking to get into actually performing in a professional capacity. There was a lot of capability with this gimmick above and beyond the routine itself. So not only is this gimmick useful for this routine, but the use case is really limitless with this.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is geared more towards, you know, table magic, not for, you know, really parlor magic. Well, I mean, I guess you can use it for parlor magic, depending on where you are. You know, you're not going to use it for street magic because you want to be able to put down cards and things like that. You know, but it definitely is angle sensitive.
Yeah.
You know, you basically want people in front of you, and you know, that's what you want to keep an eye on. But other than that, I think it's a really, really cool, you know, trick and very thorough tutorial.
Absolutely. I would definitely pick up something from Luke again. His energy really sold it for me. I think the routine itself and the gimmick absolutely sells itself, but it brought it to the next level for me because of that energy that Luke brought to it and just the passion he had in it, which isn't something I think we always see. So for me, that was a nice little added benefit while watching the tutorial. But again, I think, as you said, it was really a great routine built out for that kind of parlor and table setting.
Yeah, and Luke just looked cool.
Yeah. Like we said, you can pick this up at any Murphy's Magic retailer for $25. Make sure to check out HIT and make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel.
Oh.